Jimmy Carter is extremely happy right now.
Well, that's because he's a happy person because he's dedicated his life to the service of others. He's a good Christian, and even in sadness, he is not overwhelmed with sorrow because he has a deep and abiding faith, and he's a sweet human being, and he's built houses for people that he'll never meet, and that kind of stuff, So yeah, he's happy.
So is another president, but I won't mention his name because there might be about 3 people here that thought he was okay.
You think he's not saying Obama because he turned around and there were 3 black people without Blacks for Trump shirts on? And it's just a funny number because that's precisely the number of the black people without Blacks for Trump shirts that are sitting behind him when he looked back.
This is what happens when you have a dishonest election. This is all about a rigged election.
Yes, this speech is all about a rigged election. That didn't happen, but that's all you're talking about. Yes, we understand that. Yes. Yes, you're a sore loser. But hey, better to be a sore loser than, I guess, a boring loser, I guess. This is...
None of these disasters ever should have been allowed to happen. Last week, it was painstakingly revealed.
Last week, it was painstakingly revealed. What?
By Durham. You know Durham. The Durham.
Yeah, Durham. By Durham. It was painstakingly revealed by Durham. What? Where? Wharton. In School of Business. What's wrong with you? How do you graduate people that can't talk?
But we've been waiting. Thank you. Thank you, Durham. Thank you.
Thank you, Durham, for a half-assed indictment of someone who may or may not have disclosed that they were working for the law firm that worked for the Hillary Clinton campaign, even though they didn't. Durham.
Mr. Durham, we've been waiting.
Mr. Durham. It's Captain Durham to you.
But he came out with a big one, and perhaps they're going to...
Shit. No. Oh, God. And I thought we were just going to stick to dumb and not have random, odd, accidental innuendo. Shit. Listen to this whole run.
Last week, it was painstakingly revealed by Durham. You know Durham, the Durham report. We've been waiting. Thank you. Thank you, Durham. Thank you. Mr. Durham, we've been waiting, but he came out with a big one, and perhaps they're going to come out with a lot more because this should be just the beginning.
It's not. It was like he walked out of a room where people had been waiting for the answer to life, the universe, and everything, farted in a paper bag, and went, puh.
The Durham investigators that the Russia hoax was indeed a total scam made up by crooked Hillary Clinton and the Democrats.
Yeah, that's not what the report says. But it's interesting. Is that just like is there a version of like They Live where everything he reads exonerates him? You know how like in They Live, all the normal advertising, if you put on the glasses, it says obey, buy things, follow the leader, blah, blah, blah. And it's very, very Orwellian kind of, control words. But like Trump has the exact opposite. Unless he wears like thought glasses where he can actually get out of his own head for a minute. It is a great movie. Everything he reads says you were exonerated. The Russia hoax was a hoax. It was a hoaxy hoax.
How would you like to have her as your wife? Crooked Hillary Clinton and the Democrats. How would you like to have her as your wife?
Dude, her waist is smaller than yours. I'm just saying, like, that's clearly what you're talking about. But, like, no man with a neck gina should be tossing shit at women. How'd you like to have that for your wife? Try harder. Lock her up. Yeah, he was the president of the United States for 4 goddamn years, and he couldn't do it. You think he could do it now? What, from Bedminster? Jesus.
No, but think of this. I mean, Bill Clinton, he's living in fear. He's living in fear. No, think
Why? You mean kind of like Melania?
about an evil mind like that to make up a Russia hoax. You're not.
Yeah, they didn't make it up. Nothing in Durham says they're making it up. Nothing in the Mueller report said they were making it up. Like
A quick little story. Should I, or should I just go through it?
Yeah, no, go with it. I mean, Phil, stretch. Some people have gone to the bathroom already.
But no, it's just sort of crazy. I kept.
Do I do one of the, is that, I mean, you guys feel like hearing the third B-side off my second record that didn't do as well as the first one? Should I bring out nah, fuck it.
Hearing the word like Russia, because during my campaign, before you heard about the so-called Russia hoax, people would come up with me and they'd say, sir, my kid.
This is like the 15th Sir story in this. Do you think he's pissed because people have stopped calling him Sir? I think the number of people calling him Sir has dropped immensely.
People, sir, do you ever hear anything about
So it was Don, right? That sounds like Don's voice. Junior.
That say, sir, my campaign people, sir, do you ever hear anything about
Do you ever? No, I take it back. That was Kellyanne Conway. That's clearly Kellyanne Conway before coffee. Sir, do you ever? They say it in bird noises, of course. Sir, do you ever? Apparently Godzilla worked on his campaign. Sir, do you ever?
man that say, sir, my campaign people, sir, do you ever hear anything about Russia?
This is so terrible. Sir, do you ever? What the fuck?
I said, no, no.
They're laughing at the weird voice you made. No.
Sir, do you ever hear anything about Russia? I said, no, not really. I mean, Russia is Russia, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've been there. You know, I barged in on some 15-year-old girls while they were changing over there. You know, did that kind of stuff. P-tape nonsense, blah, blah, blah. Been under threat from Compromat for years. But now, besides that, no.
They're ripping us off just like every other country in the world. Now, by the way, they're really ripping us because of what they've done with energy. They're making a fortune because of it.
Because of butt? What? Did you just point at yourself and say butt?
Really ripping us because of what they've done with energy. They're making a fortune because of it. I ended the pipeline and he approved it, but he knocked out the Keystone, didn't he, huh?
I ended the pipeline, but he approved it, but I knocked out the Keystone. Right, he means Nord Stream, the Russian one. Oh, God. This is... Don't cross the streams when you have talking points. It'll reverse the flow through the gate, and there's only a very slim chance you'll survive.
But they say, sir, an innocent, young, great people, they love our country. Sir?
Well, until they work for you, I suppose. Now, some of them are guilty. Only in a court of law, though. I mean, morally, yeah.
Another one coming up a couple of months later. Sir, did you ever hear anything? Do you know anything about Russia? No. Then a third one comes up a month later. Sir, do you have anything to do with Russia? No. After about 4 or 5.
I'm convinced. I mean, I don't know why you need a deposition. I think this is all the evidence you need. You know, who needs to say stuff like this under oath when you can ramble about it in a cow pasture?
Times, you know the way it is. I said, what the hell is going on with Russia?
They're not supposed to know about this shit. Putin promised me. Right.
And that's what's going on with Russia. They made up a hoax, and we had to live with it for 3 years. What kind of a sick, perverted mind does that?
What do you mean sick, perverted mind? Dude, what kind of sick, perverted mind brags to another grown man that you can grab women by the crotch without their permission under the assumption that they will let you? You're on tape with that shit. It's grotesque. And again, if you have to do that, you're obviously doing something wrong. If you're doing it right, people will tend to throw their genitals at you. You will be the one fending it off. But apparently, when you're this dude, you gotta, walk around squeezing anything because there's no such thing as consensual sex in his life.
Was the lawyer?
Yeah. What kind of a sick, perverted man tries to get the president of Ukraine to dig up dirt on Biden? Yeah, exactly.
Hillary Clinton and the Democrats, they made it up. It was a hoax.
It's interesting, though, that they made up this hoax and it totally laid you on your back for 4 fucking years. I thought you were the best, and you had the best people, and the best of everything, and the best, and the best words, and you knew more about anything than everybody, except the only thing you don't know about Russia is except for the stuff you know more about than anyone. And so a hoax about this, which has no basis, in fact, none whatsoever, according to you, kicked your ass for 4 years. You couldn't find an answer to it that would push back solidly enough, other than just making sure they didn't see your taxes, making sure they didn't check the Alpha Bank server. None of that.
They're doing it again with the January 6th. Okay, they're doing it again.
They're doing it again with the January 6th. With the January 6th. Well, it is. I do think it's the January 6th. He views it as a holiday. He said, remember this day forever. Remember when he tweeted out to his followers, go home, we love you, remember this day forever. He wants it to be like Trump Day. If there's ever a Trump Day, it'll be January 6th. And it will be like Benedict Arnold Day. But he'll still go, my name is up in lights.
They're doing it again. We went through 3 years of hell battling this fake chart that was only allowed to happen because the media was complicit as they...
The media can't stop a legal investigation. What do you mean complicit? If they hadn't put all that stuff on the news, people wouldn't have known all the fucked up chicanery I did over there.
Always are for the Democrats.
There always are for the Democrats. You know, these folks right here in these cameras right here, which is, of course, just OAN, Newsmax, and the local affiliate that's recording the whole thing so they can play clips later. But fuck them.
And it was totally criminal what took place. And I think you'll be seeing a lot of things about it. But this, in other words, it is officially now a hoax. Most of you knew.
No, it isn't. I mean, this is classic spin, though. I mean, this is Reagan saying, in my heart, I didn't think I did anything wrong, but my head tells me different. Like, this is like, I got this note, that guy did something, so I am completely free of this. I'm like, apparently the store I robbed and shot the teller and stole a bunch of shit and took all the money. Apparently, the guy who ran the place, the 7-Eleven that I went into, was late on his taxes 3 years ago, And so, therefore, Your Honor, let me go without even an ankle monitor.
From the beginning. And you see this guy, Shifty Schiff, Adam Shifty Schiff. President Trump is a paid worker for Russia. I said, what the hell do I have to do with Russia? Adam,
A paid worker for Russia. You know, I take it back. I don't think he is riffing. I think this is too well crafted. It has to be written.
Shifty Shift, and now he's doing it again. The same guy, the same face, that same watermelon-shaped face. You know, he wanted to be a part of the administration. They didn't want to put him in. I give my credit to Biden on that one. He's very, very disappointed about that.
Yeah, it's great when you make up fails for other people that didn't actually happen. Oh, thanks, PR.
The same guy that would get up at a microphone and say, President Trump's son is involved with Russia. I'd call, Don, do you have anything to do with Russia? He didn't know what the hell I was talking about. He thought I was crazy.
Well, he knows you're crazy.
And these are good kids. They work their asses off for the country. I want to tell you.
They weren't supposed to. Don and Eric were supposed to stay away. They were supposed to be guarding the business. Ivanka and Jared were supposedly in the White House, but they weren't supposed to be a part of the actual business. You were supposed to separate yourself from your business while you're in there. Dummy, you're not supposed to talk to him about... All right. I don't know. Look who I'm talking to, Mr. SATs.
What a shame. For 3 years...
What a shame. Which one, Eric?
We went through it. And now it's revealed that it was a total hoax. We knew it anyway, but now it's official. They said it's criminal. And it was paid.
Did they? What's the quote? Go for it. They said it was criminal. Did they? Who's they?
For by the Democrats and paid for by Hillary Clinton and some others. The big Steele dossier. Remember Steele?
Yeah.
That was written, turned out.
You know who remembers Christopher Steele? Apparently, Ivanka. Ask her about him. I've heard that she's a good source.
To be a total fake document. They made up all the stories. Thank goodness, because there were a couple in there that I didn't like.
A couple of them. The pee-pee part, yeah, he's totally for.
And the lawyers for the Democrat Party, Michael Sussman, he was just fired. And he was just fired and arrested. What he did. And you have another one, Mark Elias. He's no longer with Perkins Coie, which is the big law firm that the Democrats, I guess they probably got him the hell out of there because it was getting too hot.
Yeah, that's what happened. All right, hold on one second. Let's, I want to, let's see, just so you know what he's talking about, let's see if I can bring this. This is what he's talking about, by the way. Durham Sussman indictment is a bizarre coda for the DOJ's Russia investigation. Mueller spelled out the ways the Russian investigation was not a hoax. The only hoax is the charge contained in this indictment. Special counsel John Durham was tasked with investigating the origins of the FBI's Russia investigation. He now appears to have ended his work, not with a bang, but with a whimper. It's hard to see how the case Durham filed on Thursday against Washington lawyer Michael Sussman meets Justice Department standards. The indictment alleges that Sussman met with the FBI General Counsel Jim Baker in September 2016 to provide information about connections between the Russian bank and the organization. The Trump Organization, the FBI was unable to substantiate any links between Alpha Bank and former President Donald Trump's businesses, but the charge against Sussman making false statements to the FBI doesn't allege the substance of the information was false. Instead, that would be the hoax part, I suppose. Instead, Sussman is accused of having misrepresented on whose behalf he was providing it. A grand jury only needs to find probable cause that a crime was committed to return an indictment, but DOJ policy requires a higher standard before putting a person through the expense, burden, and stigma of criminal charges. The prosecutor should make determination that admissible evidence will probably be sufficient to obtain and sustain a conviction. This case comes woefully short of that standard. Let's start with the easy one. Admissible evidence. The indictment appears to rely on the handwritten notes of an assistant director with whom Baker spoke after his meeting with Sussman. The note states, among other things, said not doing this for any client. Anyone who's played the game of telephone understands that as information is repeated, it often gets altered along the way. Instead, testimony at trial must be based on personal observation. If the prosecution attempted to offer these notes, or even the writer's testimony about what he heard Baker say before he wrote them as evidence, either would likely be ruled as hearsay. The case is equally weak on the merits. Although making false statements to an FBI agent is a serious crime, the government must be able to prove each and every element of the offense. Here, at least 2 of the 5 elements cannot be met. First, Sussman maintains that he did not make the statement. Many defendants deny misconduct, but this time it may work. In most false statement cases, the precise language of the statement at issue is memorialized in some way. The transcript of testimony under oath, a written submission, a recorded oral statement. If not, the federal agency will usually provide 2 or more witnesses who personally heard the statement. Here it appears that the whole case is built on the testimony of one witness, Baker, and in a he said face-off, the tie goes to the defendant. The ties goes to the defendant. All right. A tie goes to the defendant. In addition, it is not clear that Baker will be a strong or even willing witness. In a closed-door meeting with Congress in 2018, Baker testified that he did not recall whether Sussman had represented himself as working on behalf of the Democratic Party or Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign. Hardly the star witness needed to convict in the absence of all other evidence. And by the way, shall we look at did he release he didn't release a report at all. This is just an indictment based on it. Let's see. And everybody compares it to Michael Flynn. Right. Yeah, there's no Durham report, by the way. And that's the only thing. That is 100% of what he's talking about. That's the only thing that has come from it. And the person involved says, I don't quite remember him saying whether he worked for anybody or not. And the actual person under indictment is like, I didn't say that. That's it. Good night. That's the whole thing.